and I'm going to share my screen and start talking about our sleep, how important our sleep is. So we are going to talk about one thing before we get going on this, and that is that there is a fabulous weight loss plan. I'm not too sure if you guys are aware of it, and I want to be sure you know about it because it helps you control your cravings. It helps you make good choices when it comes to food. It helps you to get the most of your exercise, and I bet you want to know what this fabulous weight loss plan is, and it is to get some sleep. So our main focus tonight in talking about sleep is going to be to talk about the connection between sleep and the optimal, maintaining optimal weight and choosing optimal foods for yourself. So we sort of are in, especially in this country, we're in this, there's no other way to say it, but it's almost this bragging thing that people do about how little sleep they get. You know, I don't know if you've ever gone to work and had somebody brag about their, 8 hours of sleep they got last night, or, oh my gosh, I got my 10 hours of sleep. I get it every night. Like, no one ever talks about that. They only talk about how little sleep they got. And it's sort of this badge of honor that we have put on having a little bit of sleep and not needing a lot of sleep. And we know it's really important, and we trivialize it. So we just think that, yeah, sleep, whatever. I can sleep when I'm dead. Somebody told me recently. Like, no, we want to sleep so that you live well. So your body respects sleep, and so it's time that we give it the respect that it deserves as well. So I want to share with you this very important visual, although this a little grainy here, and I apologize for that. So here is a graph about sleep hours, sleep duration in the United States, and you can see it has gone down over the ages, and I'm sure if we had that data for 2017, it's even lower. And if you look, the BMI has gone exactly in the opposite direction. So there's been a steady decline in our sleep pattern, and there's been a parallel increase in obesity. This is true even with children. Children who are getting less than 10 hours of sleep have a much greater incidence of being overweight or obese than children who are getting what children should be getting, between 10, 11, sometimes even 12 hours of sleep at that age. So the University of Chicago coined this term metabolic grogginess. And if you can imagine how groggy you might feel after you haven't had enough sleep, kind of dazed and confused and all of that, well, your metabolism feels this same metabolic, the same grogginess. And within 4 days of sleep deprivation, your body's ability to properly use insulin becomes completely disrupted. And this is bad. This is bad, and here's why it's bad. When insulin is functioning well in the body, it can absorb lipids and fatty acids and remove them from your bloodstream. And that helps to prevent storage. When you become insulin resistant, fats circulate in your body and pump out more insulin. And eventually this insulin ends up creating and storing more fat. So this metabolic grogginess, we don't want to have. Also, people consider that maintaining a good weight and controlling hunger is all about willpower, and it's all about ignoring the call of the stomach or the call of the cupcake. And I want to share with you what a lot of clients that I work with find is kind of good news in a way, and a little less down on themselves when they learn that it's not just willpower. Sure, willpower has a small piece to do with it, but it's much more about the hormones in our body. And hunger is controlled by 2 hormones. One is called ghrelin, And ghrelin is spelled this way. And this is a hormone that says go. And it tells you that you are hungry and you want to eat. And when you're sleep deprived, you have in your body much more ghrelin than you would have if you had a regular amount of sleep. Also, you have the hormone leptin. And leptin tells you to stop eating. Leptin is the satiety hormone. It says like, okay, I've got this. I've had enough. I don't need to eat anymore. When you sleep less than 6 hours, it triggers that area of your brain that controls these hormones. The ghrelin gets bigger, gets more, and your leptin decreases. And if that's not bad enough, our buddy cortisol shows up. When you haven't had enough sleep, your cortisol levels rise. And we are just dressed up cavemen people. That's what we are. We're just dressed up and cleaned up cave people. Our brains have not evolved that much. When cortisol arrives, we want comfort. We want some reward, and we want those comfort foods, those high reward foods. And cortisol, when that raises, that's what's happening. And it's not always about control. It's about these hormones gone wild. So it's a simple formula. You're going to have more cortisol. You're going to have more ghrelin. You're going to have less leptin. When this comes together, you can eat a full meal and you're still looking in the cupboard. You can have the best breakfast in the world, and that box of donuts is in the break room and it's calling to you. It is just how it is. This formula will result in weight gain. It gets worse, all right? I'm telling you, this is going to get worse before it gets better. So I'm going to tell you all the bad news, and then we're going to get to some solutions, because I will never leave you without some solutions. So in addition, it's going to push you into directions of foods that you know are not serving you well. One night of sleep deprivation is enough to impair that frontal lobe of your brain, which is where complex decision-making happens. And maybe you've had a conversation like this, which is, I really shouldn't have this extra piece of cake or this extra piece of pizza, but one really won't hurt, right? And then the pizza's gone or the cake is gone, because there's that complex decision-making that's shot. It turns out that being a little bit overtired, having sleep deprivation, is a little bit like being a little bit drunk. Your decision-making is not very good. You make decisions that aren't serving you well. And it also affects that activity in your amygdala, which is this very primal reward region of your brain. And completely destroys all diets, all efforts to be eating well in a way that serves you well. So there it is. Let's move on. You have all of that going on, and you're going to want greater portions of these foods that aren't serving you well. We just keep eating because, again, that leptin's not saying, hey, ho, I have had enough. That ghrelin saying, I want more, and this is what happens. We're making choices that aren't serving us and serving sizes that are not serving us. The average American, when they have had sleep deprivation, we're talking under 6 hours of sleep, considered sleep deprivation. This is what it looks like with those 385 extra calories that they might have in that day. So think about what other combinations, maybe none of these foods call to you, but think of what might call to you. 385 extra calories on a day that someone is sleep deprived. So here's the bottom line. When you're sleep deprived, your cortisol raises, asking for that reward center. They want high reward foods, and I'm sorry, that's just not going to be broccoli and salad. We're going to want those things that we know are not going to serve us well and have us feeling our very best. Your ghrelin raises, which makes you an eating machine. Your leptin lowers, which totally shuts off that I'm full message that your brain needs. You are going to reach for every type of food that you don't need and in serving sizes, and you don't have that brain function to say, no, I'm done. Because remember, it's like you're a little bit drunk. So you also need your best amount of sleep so that you can get your best out of your workouts. I tell my clients all the time that muscle is the enemy of fat. Well, sleep deprivation is the enemy of exercise. You want to be able to give your workouts your best, and if you're tired, you're going to look like this. So I have many people who say, I get up at 4:30 to go work out, and that's when I'm fitting that in, and that's what works for me. And I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I don't know why I can't control my appetite. And I hate to tell you, but if you're waking up at 4:30 to get your workout in, you better be going to bed right about now. So you've got to get your sleep to be able to get those early morning workouts. You cannot stay up till midnight and then wake up at 4:30 to get your workout and feel like you're going to be getting the best bang for your buck. So making sure that that sleep is helping you get the most of your workouts, even if that means figuring out another time to get those workouts in. We're talking strictly about the effect of sleep in your maintaining a healthy weight, but we all know there's many other side effects from missing sleep. Here's just a few of them. I'll just be quiet for a moment to let you take a look at those. And now, if you don't already have a piece of paper, I would love for you to get a piece of paper, because I am going to throw down some tips for you for getting a good night's sleep. And what I would like for you to do is have a list of them, and then at the end, we're going to use that list for a small activity. So if you haven't got a piece of paper, go grab one, go grab a pen, and come back, and we are going to go through several different tips. And I am sure that some of these, if not maybe not all of them. I bet some you've heard of before, but I'm going to guarantee you're going to walk away with some that you've not heard before tonight. So one that you may have heard before, but it bears repeating, is to let your sleep patterns be routine. We want to have that bedtime so that your bodies can get into that rhythm of bedtime. So we've done this with kids, right? You have that bedtime for kids and you have a routine. And maybe as a child, you had this routine, or maybe you do this with your children, that dinner bath bed, maybe some stories and a song or something like that. You had this as a child, or you did this with your children because you wanted to give that cue that it's time to go to bed. And as a grown-up, you still need that routine. We kind of think, oh, we don't need that routine, but we do. And we want it to be the same. We want it to be a similar hour that we're going to bed and a similar hour that we are waking. It doesn't have to be exact, but sleeping in on the weekends, sleeping late on the weekends is not serving you well to be able to get back into that routine of the weekday, to be getting up at a similar hour and going to bed at a similar hour. So we're trying to give our bodies that signal and that rhythm. Same time each evening, giving your body the same cues, just like you did as a kid or as you did for your children. So you want to have a sleep curfew. You're going to be your best mean mom, best mean dad. Put on that hat and set your bedtime and stick to it. Going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time is one of the best things you can do for your body to get into that rhythm. If you need to, set a reminder on your phone. I have a little reminder on my phone that tells me an hour before, start getting ready for bed. So I don't get caught up in a project or caught up in something. I'm like, all right, I got to start winding this day down. You want to watch for that second wind, right? We've all had it. you're tired at the end of the day, you've had dinner, you've done a little bit, cleaning around the house, or just got your day ready for tomorrow. And you sit down on the couch and you start nodding off and you think, oh no, I can't fall asleep now. I'm going to go do a load of laundry. I'm going to go watch that webinar I wanted to look at. I'm going to go answer some emails. God, I need to get my second wind. You want to watch for that, because that's fighting that natural rhythm your body's trying to have. And if you give into that first wind, if you can give into that first signs of being tired, it will serve you so much better than fighting it and waiting for that second wind. Furthermore, that 10 o'clock hour, I want you to see if that can be a time that you can have for your bedtime. There's a magic that happens from 10 until 2 in the morning. And it is this time that our bodies really recharge and recover. Our brains recover during that hour, during those hours best. Also, our liver, and our gallbladder also do some detoxing during those hours. So if you stay up till 11, you're missing out on 1 full hour of that really important recharging time for your body. So if you think about it, before we had electricity, when the sun went down, we started to kind of get into that mood and that winding down. And by 10 o'clock, we were asleep. But now we have our lights, we have everything else going on. We can keep going till all hours, right? We could go right through the night if we wanted to. But really trying to be aware of the rhythm that your body has and honoring that. Here's some other tips for you. So maybe you've heard about chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is a great way to unwind at the end of the day, but there's also something called turmeric tea. So chamomile and turmeric tea are two that I really recommend. I'll start with the chamomile tea and tell you that there's been some studies that chamomile tea is really helpful in calming anxiety. It is a little bit of a muscle relaxant, so just enough to just calm your body down. So please add that to your list that you're jotting down today. Chamomile tea, easy and a nice way to unwind, and we talk about getting a rhythm or a routine for your nighttime routine. Maybe you're not doing dinner, bath, bed with stories and a song anymore, but couldn't you do dinner, chamomile tea, read your book? What could be your signals that you're giving your body that it's time to sleep? So we have chamomile tea, but maybe you're not aware of golden milk or turmeric tea. These are the ingredients. If you just Google golden milk or turmeric tea, you're going to find some great recipes here. So this is the one that I use. It uses these ingredients. I make a big batch of it. It is so warming. The cinnamon and the ginger, it's really, really warming and very relaxing. And turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory spice and just a great way to unwind. And again, in the winter, it's a real warming drink. So take a look to see if that might be something you might want to try. Now, you may already know this one, and I'm never popular when I share this and emphasize this, but you've got to shut it down, people. What am I talking about? Your phone, right? Your phone, your devices. When the sun starts going down, we want melatonin to start rising in our bodies. It's the natural rhythm. We want that to start rising. And when we have our phones, especially our phones and our smaller devices and our computers, because they're so close to us, they emit this blue light that tells your brain and your body, nope, not time to release melatonin. Let's keep things going. It's still day. Oh my gosh, it must still be day. So we don't get that natural melatonin, which is a neurotransmitter that slows that body on down. When you watch TV, it's a little bit further away. It's not as damaging in terms of reducing the melatonin, although it does have some effect. But these devices that we have near us are ruining our sleeps, ruining our sleep. If you must be on a device, And believe me, I have nights that I have to be on it, right up until I go to bed. I'm working with a client, or I'm trying to prepare for a presentation the next day. You have these nights. Everybody does. If you have that, there are a couple of things that I want you to consider using. One is these glasses that block out the blue light. They completely block it out, so you can use your devices without worrying about having that melatonin shutting down. Another option is to put an app on your phone or on your computer. One that I use is called Flux. I have it shut off tonight so that I can give this presentation, but it works with the sunrise and sunset. And as soon as the sun starts setting, it makes this sort of an orange cover on my computer, and when the sun is rising, it shuts it off and brings it back to regular light. So this is going to have less of that blue light shouting out at me when I'm working on my computer. So definitely consider these two items if you do have to be on your device closer to bedtime. The other option, someone is not muted. If you could kindly mute yourself in the bottom left, that would be great. Aromatherapy is another great option. Lavender has been shown to be a great way to, again, give your body that cue that it's time to sleep, and just get that, when people smell lavender, that slow wave sleep increases. That's when your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, your brain organizes your memories. So why not? Smells great, feels great. I just put a little dab in my palm of my hands and rub it and just smell it. I might put it on my sheets or rub it on my pillowcase a little bit. And just, again, another cue for my body that it's time to start slowing it down and know that sleep is coming. You want to pay attention to what you're eating. You don't want to be too hungry, and you don't want to be stuffed, right? Both of those will keep you up. In addition, you want to watch your caffeine intake. Some people are very, very, very sensitive to this. I cannot have any caffeine after like 11 o'clock, or it will affect my sleep. I can't even really have much coffee at all. I drink more green tea because coffee seems to even affect my sleep, even if it's hours before. The other thing, and this is good to keep in mind, is spicy foods can keep people awake. Drinking wine can make you sleepy, but then that sugar comes back up and wakes you up. Has everyone had that experience? You go to sleep just fine. Oh, little glass of wine, right to sleep. And then a few hours later, you're wide awake. And that's that sugar that is in the alcohol and the wine to make you wide awake. And Whole Life Challengers, you got to finish up your water at least a few hours before bed. I try to finish my big drinking water with my dinner time, and I'll still have a few sips of water as I'm working or hanging out in the evening. But my major glasses of water, I try to finish before dinner, just so that you're not getting up to use the bathroom. So be aware of what you're eating and what you're drinking. This is a tip maybe you haven't heard before, wearing socks to go to sleep. And you can always kick them off in the middle of the night. But what we're trying to do when you go to sleep is that you want your skin temperature to warm up and your blood vessels to dilate, lowering your core body temperature. When your core body temperature goes down, the heat comes more towards your skin, and that's a cue to your body to go to sleep. So if your feet are cold, your body's getting the message that it's not time to sleep. If your feet stay warm and your whole body's warm with cozy blankets and you feel cozy, then that core body temperature can go down a bit, and the extremities in your skin temperature can raise slightly, and that's a cue to your body to sleep. So socks to bed. My next tip is to make it dark, right? So studies have shown that just even a little bit of light can cause restlessness. And I want you to look for ambient light coming from your devices, from your alarm clock, from your fire extinguisher, or fire, what's the word I'm looking for? Your thing that alarms you, fire alarm, there it is. Oh my gosh. So you want to make sure anything that's blinking or showing any sort of light is covered. My husband, he had the phone charger and his alarm clock and there was something else over there. I'm like, it is like Las Vegas over there. Can you like cover some stuff up, please? Throw a blanket over some of those things. So throwing blankets over things. I was in a hotel room and the fire detector was right up above and the light was blinking. I had to dig in my bag, find a Post-it, climb up, put it on the fire detector just to make things dark. So you could even consider getting room darkening shades and or an eye mask, anything like that to help you make darkness happen in your room. Also temperature. So the ideal temperature is anywhere between 62 and 65 degrees. So being aware of the temperature in your room, that can make you really have a hard time sleeping if it's too hot or too cold. And then breathing. If you are awake, if you just cannot seem to capture that Sandman, how about a little bit of a breathing technique? And not just any breathing, but I want you to practice this type of breathing with Dr. Weil here. So Dr. Weil, if you're not aware, is in the wellness industry. He does a lot of work talking about health promotion in terms of your activities and your lifestyle choices. And he was one of the presenters for several of my courses that I took through my program to become a health coach. So Dr. Weil has made very popular this type of breathing, or this method of breathing called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And I'd like to take some time to do that together. And basically what it is, and he'll explain it more, but it's exhaling for 4, inhaling for 7. I'm sorry. You're going to inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. And this technique just calms the brain. So we're going to do it together. No one can see you. You have yourself muted. If you haven't already, the bottom left, you should have come in muted. So unless you unmuted yourself, you should still be muted. And we're going to do this technique together just so that you can get a sense of what it looks like and what it feels like. There are apps that you can get that have the 4-7-8 technique. You can look on YouTube and find people other than Dr. Weil to do it with until you get it down. It's a great skill to have. So we're going to try it together. So just find a comfortable spot for yourself, relax, and let's try this.
Famous 4-7-8 breath, the relaxing breath that I teach to all patients and doctors and students and friends, another yoga breathing technique. In this, you try to keep your tongue in the yogic position, touching the tip of the tongue to the ridge of tissue just behind your upper front teeth. Like that, try to keep it there the whole time. You breathe in quietly through your nose to a count of 4, and you hold your breath for a count of 7, and then blow air out forcefully through your mouth. Helps if you purse your lips out and you make a whoosh sound when you do that. So the exercise begins by letting all the air out through your mouth. Then you close your mouth, breathe in silently to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, out through your mouth audibly to a count of 8, and you will repeat this for 4 breath cycles. Looks like this. That's it. You must do this at least twice a day. You can do it more frequently if you want, but never more than 4 breath cycles at one time, at least for the first month. After a month, if you're comfortable with it, you can increase to 8 breath cycles, and that's the absolute maximum. It's desirable to slow the whole exercise down as you practice it. What limits you is how long you can comfortably hold your breath, but as you practice that, you'll get better and better at it. And after doing this for 4 or 6 weeks, you can begin trying to use it for things. If somebody says something that pushes your button, you do this exercise before you react. It's a great way to deal with cravings. It's a great way to help you fall asleep. If you get up in the middle of the night for any reason, get back in bed, you do the exercise, you'll fall asleep easily. After 2 months, 3 months of regular practice, there are very significant changes that happen in physiology. This lowers heart rate, it lowers blood pressure, it improves digestion. It is a very powerful anti-anxiety measure, in fact, much more powerful than the anti-anxiety drugs that are commonly prescribed. It takes no time, needs no equipment, very time and cost effective. Everything to recommend it, so I urge you to begin practicing this.
All right. So I've had clients who use this for all those reasons that Dr. Weil had said. If somebody presses your button, but I would highly recommend not doing it in front of them. Maybe go to the bathroom and do it first. But to be able to use it to sleep is just a great technique to be able to have. So practicing it makes it so it's more accessible to you and more powerful for you. So practicing it just to practice it. Maybe if you're sleeping just fine, just do it during the day just to give it some practice and see how you feel. I think even just with that one round, it just feels nice. It just is a nice calming technique. So what to do if you've got that monkey brain? So you've fallen asleep and now you're awake, or you can't fall asleep because you keep thinking about 100 different things. So we've all maybe heard of the technique of choosing one category like fruit and coming up with a fruit for every letter of the alphabet. I don't know about you, but I might get to J and not be able to think of a fruit, and then I'm up thinking about what a fruit could be, and then I'm not sleeping. So this technique is very different. Instead of choosing a specific letter or choosing a specific category, you choose any letter of the alphabet. So let's choose M. And you think of as many nouns as you can that begin with M until you can't think of any more. And then you think of another letter and you choose as many nouns in that letter that you can think of until you can't think of any more. But here's one of the tricky pieces of it and the important pieces of it. Not only are you thinking of the word, you need to picture that noun as well. So if we're starting with M and we think melon, I want you to picture a melon. If I'm thinking margarita, I want you to picture that margarita. Maybe not margarita wearing your whole life challenge. You're thinking magazine, I want you to picture that magazine. So thinking about the picture in your mind and the word using 2 different parts of your brain, this helps that monkey mind not come back in. If you're using these 2 different parts of your brain, it helps occupy your brain better. So give this one a try. I love this one. As soon as you start not able to think of other words that begin with that letter, you just skip to another letter. So there's no, oh my gosh, what is a fruit that begins with J? What is a fruit that begins with J anyways? Now I'm going to have to think about that. So this is a great mind tamer. I really like it and I can't recommend it enough. The other way to interrupt your worry and busy brain, and maybe you saw this on Facebook and maybe that's why you showed up tonight, is to give it a little jar. I'll give it a little like, what? So if you start doing that worry brain or that busy brain, or you're thinking about the 110 things you need to do tomorrow and you are not sleeping because you just are doing this, I want you to imagine what you would do if an elk walked in the room. What would you do? And I want you to imagine it with clarity and with your senses and all of that. Now, if that freaks you out a little bit, and this tip came to me by via Martha Beck, who I adore. If you don't know Martha Beck, check her out. So she had suggested this. Think of an elk. What would you do if an elk walked in the room? That kind of freaked me out because my dog sleeps in my room. And I think if an elk walked in the room, it'd go down ugly. It would just not be a good scene. It was making me worry more. So I came up with this thought of, what would I do if all of a sudden in my bedroom, a beautiful rainbow appeared, right? So it would be quiet. It'd be lovely. What would I do? What would I say? What would I think? How would I feel? What would it look like? And it just interrupts. And when you can get that break from that windmill that you've got yourself on, you can give yourself that break. It helps to shut it off. It helps to tone it down. And even if you start going there, you can be like, nah, I'm not going back there. This is not a problem-solving hour, right? That's another phrase I use with myself a lot. This is not a problem-solving hour. Don't even try to solve a problem or plan. I'm going to think about the rainbow. I'm going to think about the elk. So if neither of these work for you, I want you to think of what your elk is. What are you going to do to help to interrupt that worry or busy brain? Come up with something that works and suits you. The rainbow worked for me, but you find what works for you. Now, I want you to consider, those are my tips for you, but I do want you to consider if there is anything going on that's affecting your sleep. And some things might require you to check out with your doctor. I had a client who we talked about cutting off her water, but she still was getting up to go to the bathroom 2, sometimes 3 nights, 3 times a night. So she went to her doctor and with my suggestion and tested for a bladder infection. And she did have one and she did not know about it. They can be very low grade and not have a lot of symptoms. So very easily treatable. So do check with your doctor if that's an issue for you. Check to see if you have poor digestion, because that can lead into a lack of nutrients, which can really affect your sleep. You can get some blood work to check on your nutrient levels. Urine testing can also be done to test nutrient levels in your body. You want to check for low blood sugar or high blood sugar, but low blood sugar can really affect your sleep. Avoiding alcohol can really help with this. We talked about how wine can make you sleepy, but then boom, you're awake. That's that sugar. Also, having a small protein snack before you go to bed can help to stabilize your blood sugar, which will help keep your sugar levels just regular and stable through the night. So a small tablespoon of peanut butter or a small handful of almonds, something that can just give you that little burst of protein that will help maintain your blood sugar throughout the night. That's also another helpful tip. You might want to ask your doctor for a full hormone panel to see. Estrogen and progesterone can really affect your sleep, and that definitely decreases with your age. Also, melatonin can decrease as we age, your ability to create melatonin. We talked about melatonin, how we want that to increase in the night. But if it's not getting up to a nice level, it's down here, even though you're shutting down your devices and you're doing all the right things, you might need some supplements for your melatonin, and your doctor can help you with that. This is what we want to happen. We want our cortisol to rise in the morning, get us going, and then slowly drop off and go low during the day. When we're in a chronic stress, stress has a huge piece about our sleep. If we're in a chronic stress and our cortisol stays high, sleep is going to be tough. So managing your stress in a variety of different ways, that's a whole other workshop, right, of managing your stress levels. But being aware, if you're highly stressed, sleep is going to be hard to come by because your cortisol levels are up where your melatonin should be. Testing those with your doctor is one way to check it out. Also, sleep apnea. A lot of people have sleep apnea that's not diagnosed. Sleep apnea is very serious and really needs to be explored with your doctor. If you have anybody who has said to you, your snoring is out of control, you really need to be checked for sleep apnea. There are some great devices that they've really improved over the years. So if you've said, oh yeah, I heard about what you have to do for sleep apnea, I'm not doing that, just please know that they have improved treatments for that greatly. So do check with your doctor if you think that is an issue for you. And then some supplements. Melatonin, again, is one that you can certainly try on your own. I would say start with the smallest dosage possible, 1 milligram, and see how you react with that. I've seen melatonin come in 10 milligrams. Please do not take that. That's a lot of melatonin. You want to start very, very small. And again, best results to be seen with your doctor. There's also some natural ways to help with that GABA and glutamate shifting that happens in our sleep. We want these are neurotransmitters that we want to go up and down depending whether it's morning or night, and these supplements can help with that. Again, another thing to discuss with your doctor. And then also magnesium. I use this magnesium. The one I use is called Calm, but it's a powder magnesium, and I take it at night. And magnesium can be very relaxing to the body. It's a little bit of a muscle relaxant. It's very calming. You want to start that very, very small dosage because it also can, I give it to or suggest it for clients who have constipation issues. So you want to start small with that, especially if you do not have constipation issues. Magnesium can really affect your digestive system in that way. But you can build up to that, and your body can get used to that. So I have a teaspoon of that every night mixed with water, and I really swear by that for my sleep. And a lot of people give me the excuse that they are too busy to sleep, they're too important to sleep, I've got so much to do, and I want to refer to you to Arianna Huffington, the co-founder of Huffington Post, who values sleep more than any other professional that I've ever heard of. She's actually written a book about it, The Sleep Revolution. I highly recommend taking a peek at it if you want to learn more about that. But Arianna Huffington, who is one busy woman, values naps to the point that she has nap rooms at Huffington Post, and she also takes a nap in her office with the blinds open to show people how important she feels that is. If you've never heard Arianna Huffington speak, go check her out on YouTube. She's a hoot and really does promote the power of sleep and swears by it herself, and damn, she looks good. So that's another great reason to get some sleep. So knowledge is power. You got a lot of things thrown at you tonight, a lot of things to consider, but knowledge is power. And now you know these things, but it's only powerful if you use it. So now it's time to take a look at that list of things that I'm hoping that you jotted down, the different tips that I shared with you. And I want you to make a plan for yourself. I want you to look through the list right now and choose at least one tip that you want to try tonight. One thing. Is it the chamomile tea? Do you have some on hand? Oh, I forgot about that. I'm going to give that a try. Is it the breathing technique? Is it the elk? Is it the alphabet thing that you can do? Choose one tip that you're going to try tonight. Give it a circle. Give it a star. Now I want you to consider, what about this weekend? What's something you might want to try this weekend? Maybe it's something you might need to buy a couple things for, or maybe you wanted to download that Flux on your computer. That's going to take this weekend. I can't do that right now. Maybe you choose to do that. And I want you to put a W next to at least two that you might want to try this weekend. And then I want you to look at the list and check off ones you want, star ones that you want to try. Now, not all of them are going to work for everyone. You're like, I do not like turmeric. I'm not having that. I don't like chamomile tea. I'm not doing that. So don't worry about that one. Just knock that one off your list. But any that you might want to play with, you might want to try, give them a little star. And then check them off as you try them. Now, when I say try them, I don't mean one time. Some of these are going to take a little work, right? They're not going to feel natural, or the breathing is going to feel, was it 4? Was it 5? Am I exhaling? Am I inhaling? So give it a few times to try it. Don't just think it needs to be perfect right at the get-go. Try it for a couple of nights and see what happens. What I don't want you to do is to try everything, because there's no one person that can do all these things every night. You'd be exhausted. But I want you to also figure out what worked. So if you tried all these supplements or you tried this or that, maybe you don't know what worked. So try just 1 or 2 things at a time and see how those work for you. All right. What I wish for you are sweet dreams tonight and every other night. And I would love to know if you would like to unmute yourself and tell me anything that made sense to you tonight, anything that you're excited to try, anything that was brand new. Please chime on in, please.
Well, it's Jane, and I'm gonna try the breathing tonight.
Yes. Have you heard about that before, Jane?
No, I haven't, and I love that doctor.
I was going to ask if you know him. Yeah. So he was really involved. I don't know if he still is with Origins, that skincare and cosmetic line.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of people know him from there. He's an unlikely beauty candidate
I love him.
I love him. One of my favorite things that I took away from one of his lectures that I took through my program was this idea of condensed morbidity. And I love this idea. It sounds kind of, creepy, but the idea is that you live, healthy, you get sick and you die. You don't want to live, get sick, get sicker, be in the hospital, be out of the hospital, be back in the hospital, be back in the hospital, and then die. We want to live, condensed morbidity, call it a day, right?
My mother lived that way.
Your mom did?
Yeah, she was healthy, but then at the very end, she ended up getting MRSA after a back operation, and they said, and then she had a collapsed diaphragm. They go, well, then you're going to have to live with an oxygen tank the rest of your life. And she goes, no, I'd rather die with dignity. And she died 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was in her late 80s. Yeah, but that's the way to go.
It is. Condensed morbidity. That's Dr. Weil. Well, Jane, I hope you have good luck with that 478. I find it really helpful, and the more you practice it, the better it'll be.
Good. Thank you. It was thank you for the thing tonight.
Good. I'm glad. Anyone else that was listening in have something that they're looking forward to trying?
So, Christine, this is Kathy. I already do a lot of those things. You could probably guess. And I sleep with a sleeping pad a heating pad on my feet, and that really, it's really awesome. And then the hormones, when I went to have my hormones checked, that helped tremendously. Now I almost never get up in the middle of the night. But I'm going to try the Calm tonight because I have some.
Good.
And then I do want to try the turmeric.
Small. Like I'm talking a quarter of a teaspoon.
Oh, really? Okay. Usually I do more. Okay.
Oh, if you're used to it, then go ahead. But
I've used it periodically.
Yeah.
The other great thing about it is it's really good for your bones.
Mm-hmm.
So I do need to use it more often.
Good.
And then I'm going to try the turmeric tea this weekend because I sort of thought you had to use dairy, and now I know you don't. So I'm going to make a big batch of it this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, good. It's so warming too, Kathy. It's just really. I'll have it in the middle of the day too because it's just so cozy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So thank you. It was very interesting. I appreciate it.
Good. Thanks. Anyone else have something that they're looking forward to trying tonight or this weekend? All right. Any other questions? Any whole life challenge questions? Anything that people want to know these last 2 weeks coming on Saturday? That's pretty incredible. Anything that I can do to help support you? If you want to share it now, feel free. If you want to email me, I am so willing to do just about anything to help make this a nice, strong ending for you. So please feel free to reach out either now or with an email.
Well, it's Kathy again. This feels kind of weird that it's only 6 weeks. So usually by, week 7 or 8, it's kind of like fatigue. And 6, I feel like you can finish really strong.
Kathy, I could not agree with you more. So Kathy has done the Whole Life Challenge with me previously, and this is
my 4th time.
Yeah. This is the very first time the Whole Life Challenge has been only 6 weeks. It's always been 8 weeks. And for folks who are doing the 6 weeks, you're like, wait, what? 8 weeks? That would have been a long time. And I'm telling you, by week 6, I am begging people to stay in the game because they are just done. Every people is just done. It gets a little like, okay. But 6 weeks, people are in it. But that 7th and 8th week, boy, whoo, yeah, that's like dragging people through to the finish line. And I want you to finish strong. And I think 6 weeks is perfect. I'm really happy with the change.
And it's nice that it's only a 6-week break too.
Yes. So that's the other thing. So they're doing it now, 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off, 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off.
So I've signed up for April already.
Yay. Good for you, Kathy. Good for
Yeah.
you. Please know that team that I'm not hosting a team,
Right.
but Kathy will tell you can find teams to join. Kathy, they're not as good as our team though, right?
No, they're not. But Carrie runs a good team.
Yes. So I'll give you, if Carrie's doing one in the spring, I'll let our team know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
But it's not your team, no.
Thanks, Kathy. Kathy's like, what am I supposed to say?
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And plus, when we do it with you, my whole work does it.
Yes.
And it's completely different than when we're not doing with you and just maybe 2 or 3 others do it.
Yes. And I've got people on the call here today. So Kathy's from Granite State College. They have a team that's doing it together. I know Margaret's with a team at her work, and I know Jane is with a small team. It's 2 of them, but they're work buddies and they're doing it together. And I think it's a great way to get the support that you need. So yeah, excellent. Is there anyone else that wants to share anything about Whole Life Challenge or questions about tonight's webinar? Well, I'm going to call it a night because you guys got to get thinking about bedtime soon. You got to start thinking in that direction. One other tip, it's a little bonus tip that I want to give you right now. When I am done eating dinner, I wash my face, brush my teeth, floss my teeth, and put on my pajamas. Because I don't know about you, but there are some nights I'm on my couch, if I haven't done all that, I'm on my couch and I think, I'm too tired to go to bed. I'm too tired to go to bed, which sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You're too tired to get up and go do the bed and the face and the teeth and all that. And you just think, oh my gosh, I can't do it. But if I have all that done and I'm tired on the couch, all I have to do is go up and crawl into bed. So that's one little bonus tip for those of you who stayed till the very end. I hope you go and do that one right now if you aren't already brushed and washed and ready in your PJs. And so then when you are tired, all you have to do is crawl into bed. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you spending the time. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I really look forward to hearing from you on our wall, what's working for you. Encourage your other teammates to listen to the recording because I think there's a lot to learn here today. And moving forward, it's great information to be able to maintain your healthiest you. So thanks so much for coming. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christine.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Sleep tight.